Hey, very good morning, everyone. Welcome, and I hope my audio is clear. So, yeah, I think we have waited a few minutes for everyone to settle. So let's get it started. So, first, before starting, I would like to convey that Happy Independence Day to everyone. So it's 80th Independence Day that we have. So proud to be in this particular place on this day to demo this. Myself is Raghu, and I'll be the trainer for this particular program. So let's get straight to the point. So this particular training, as you all aware, that it is going to be on observability. So before getting into the some part of some discussion, by the way, like interactive discussion, we would like to tell certain things that uh, we'll get an opportunity to discuss after a few slides of the presentation. So just allow me some 20-25 minutes at a max to present certain content. Okay, what is this training about? And post that, we can have leisure time to discuss. All right. And yeah, so let's get it started. So once again, so please welcome. This training is about the observability. And as you all aware, I think most of you, we already said the prerequisite that, you are coming for a observability training. So which means you are having already some experience on the on the work that you do, by the way, especially you're coming from any sort of engineering background, right? So now basically, okay, if you look at the understanding, by the way, so even um, I mean let me put this way. So if you are actually trying to or if you're actually working, by the way, some of the places that we observe, or let me iterate in a completely different way. Sorry, so the third time I'm making this. So let me put this way. So what is the intention of making this particular training? Okay. So when we actually try to, speak to certain people, especially on the interviews kind of a thing, uh, we usually see them, lagging in the phase of the real time. Okay. So a lot of people is very good at, throw a problem. Hey, you write some Kubernetes, YAML file. Probably he will just code it so fast. But the moment you ask, like, so hey, if this is the case that you actually try to do it in a zero downtime kind of a thing, so then the confidence start fading out. Okay, so that makes a lot of people lagging. Though they are keeping the effort of too much in learning the tools, while they are actually lagging on the implementing of the tools. And when you actually get into the real production systems, right? So real companies, and this is a very crucial factor that whatever you learn in the lab is something that it needs to be replicatable to our real production scenarios. So that's where we have been thinking. And I mean, this training, it's not like we were starting, like, it has been started at least like 14-15 months back. We wanted to do this particular training. It took it significant amount of time, because the project, actually what we wanted to deliver for showing the real time phase is something that to be near real time. Okay, so just not like one or two microservices that we do kind of a thing, right? So now the observable or the monitoring that you are aware of, you have seen some basic dashboards kind of a thing, but actually try to put it at a scale. So how they will look like, what is the practices that you need to follow, and those particular things is essential for this particular training. Okay, and also we at Join DevOps, so we do believe that an engineering practice, like, we've been trying to do that as a part of DevOps training as well, not just with hello world application. So because if you are if I consider an engineer who has constructed, let's say, 50, 60 buildings kind of a thing. If he has built 50, 60 buildings, that means he has completed 50, 60 projects. But every project is a ground floor, first floor kind of a max kind of a thing. versus the same another engineer who has completed only one project, but he has built 150-floor building. Now, in the engineering world, we'll consider the guy with the one project is more serious than a person who has done some, you know, small kind of a scale setups. That gives you a lot of complexity kind of a thing. So we wanted to bring that complexity uh, to the, learnings that you wanted to do. All right. So when we actually wanted to talk about this particular training, okay, that is a major thing. And the next one is very important is, so I think if you look at the engineering, uh, or if you look at the applications, like, so I mean, typically you come from a DevOps side, so where you actually try to bridge the dev with the ops. I think earlier the gap was quite huge. Now I think the gap actually this role has brought, so you know quite significantly as a thin layer, and even that layer is so thin, by the way, so you have to emerge into certain, full stack kind of a platform engineer kind of a thing. So what I'm trying to tell here is, so maybe if you go back, like, so 14 years, or like, 13, 14 years where this particular process has been evolved. And so that time, the most of the projects as in a development phase or just a starting phase, but you're in 2026 and you're not in that phase of like just go and tell that, so we are working on a SOP kind of a product. We are working on some test product. It will not work. So you have to bring the value of the role as a DevOps engineer, or it can be any other engineer as well. So let's talk about DevOps, a classical case. So you need to bring to the value to the table, right? So at one point of time, so whatever you have been delivering, so you have to look at overlook, like, what is actually happening as well. So that means like you hand over the code to the production, and production is maintaining it. That at one point you have to overlook it there as well. Okay, or you need to, even some of the roles expect you to look at that. Do the production side of the things as well. So going there, so what actually your application is going to look like, so how do you make sure your application is working well or not? If any of that such things is actually, not known, then there is I mean, that essential, so the availability of the application brings for a toss, right? So I've been always, why I have been talking about all this particular history and trying to put you this case is because as an IT, okay, in company we are IT, we're a cost center to the company, so we have been expected to perform some activity, right? So the business make the money and try to give the money to the IT to maintain the IT. So essentially, like, and I'm talking about the business-based companies. I'm not talking about the product-based companies. I think product-based companies, if you are not in a SaaS world, probably I think it's okay. So probably I mean to say, like, you go to, like, let's say Oracle as a company, right? So they give database, they sell database, they sell middleware, they sell some other a hell lot of products are there, right? So when they sell the product, okay, you're in the product-based company. So for you, of course, there'll be a production, support kind of a things who actually, get some incidents from the customers and all, like probably, so tickets, raising some bugs and things. That's a different story. But being on a development side, I just told a very big company, even a small scale company as well. So if you're actually giving a product to the company, I think your effort is quite less, or, to bother about all these particular things. But whereas, for an example, the same Oracle company has taken, no, I'll not give you a software for you to install. Rather than that, I'll give you it as a service. So today, most of the world is going on the subscription world, right? So we give as a service, you pay for it, and you use it. Now, in that particular case, now your production is so serious because you're earlier giving the product, and one fine day, okay, so the customer will come back saying, something is not working, and you'll fix it. And even before releasing that product itself, you have tested it quite well in so and so scenarios, all good, by the way. But even there as well, you might not actually deal with the real, I mean, I mean, real some edge cases where which would come into picture unless until it really goes into the other side of the customer side. Now, so being on the SaaS applications, like any product-based company also, this work is so serious. Earlier, it's a different story. You ship a software and the client will install it and run it. Now everything is going as services as well, right? Now, uh, I will take an example. Even the application what we wanted to present in this particular training is a BFSI application, so banking, finance, insurance sector. So which considered as one of the crucial sector, because you consider, like, you have different sectors, like, financial sector is there, and manufacturing sector is there, tourism sector is there. So different type of business will be there. And which I have picked up the BFSI because I've been working with BFSI sector more than a decade, at least by this time. So from 2015, close to been working into BFSI layer. And with BFSI, so there is a complexity involved. Okay, what is a complexity? So now, for an example, if you go to a tourism sector, just as an example to pick it up, now let's say my application is not working. Yes, I have a business impact. For an example, I have a Make My Trip, or I have Yatra.com, some Indian sites. If I pick it up, or maybe Agoda kind of a thing, Jesus, you go for sorry, not Agoda, Airbnb kind of a thing. If you go international, right? So those applications can have an impact if the application is down. Yes, maybe some customers not able to book the things. Okay, but coming to the you know BFSI kind of a things. Okay, probably, like, let's say, I take a insurance, by the way. If my insurance application is down, so probably today, everything is online. So now, for an example, any emergency, someone, so admitted in the hospital where his insurance is not, getting loaded, by the way, that moment, by the way, the I mean, the case is so serious, and whereas your application is not working, so it impacts the life. So it's so serious, right? So when you actually try to deal with certain systems, now let's come to the bank side. So financial sector. So financial sector is also, like, so I'm damn needed the money, but bank is not able to give me the money because the application is not working. So for whatever so reason, I can have my own emergency, right? I needed the money today at any cost. Okay. So such kind of things is so important for you to maintain the application. Even, in fact, I'll give you some examples. Okay. So most of us are from India, and you know, these BFSI layer runs with the governance as well, especially under RBI. Now, it's not only the moment you bring, you're not maintaining your application well, your application goes down. Okay. That has a huge impact on the business. They'll put the impact on the business. For an example, I can I can just put uh something from the internet. So here. So I'm just asking the major downtimes in India. Okay, so uh, which has the repercussions from the RBI as well. So you can see that, HDFC outage. I'm not sure how many of you are aware. So there was a series of outages happened, especially in the December 2020, at least like in a row of 3-4 days. That to be on the month end, so where the lot of transactions happens, the bank was down. Okay, and look at the volume of HDFC customers. It's a huge impact on the business. You know, on repetitive incidents, it's not only that, uh, basically you lose the business. On the other side, uh, so you have to maintain the repercussions of the governance in such a way that they have been banned for 1.5 year not to onboard any customer into their credit card platform. So though their downtime is actually onto the main business, which is like banking, but they have put the ban on credit cards almost like for 1.5 year. They are not allowed HDFC to onboard a new customer. I think during that time is to COVID. I think people might not be much aware of the credit card not worked kind of a thing, at least, or not onboarded kind of a thing. Maybe if it is a not COVID situation, I think people would have known this, at least whoever is using the credit card kind of a thing, right? So the point is, okay, I mean, when you actually try to work on some production level of systems, you have to make sure, okay, what is actually happening. and you should be able to react much earlier. If you don't, you can see that scenarios like this will happen. The same Kotak Mahindra Bank. So Kotak Mahindra Bank, so they have got, at least, if I'm not sure if how many of you maintain, I mean, read the BFSI news, but if you any one of you follows the news, particular news things, I think even RBI has used very bad words against Kotak on their IT maintenance. Okay, so, and during that time I was working with Kotak also. Uh, I mean, in that client thing I've been working. So I mean, Kotak has to rework on that. At least I remember, so they have recruited more than 100 plus, engineers from just from Amazon. Okay, post that in 2025 especially. So they have taken large amount of people. I mean, they understood, what is actually the reason and why it is actually the poor maintenance and all. I mean, they have, they started reworking on many things, by the way. Okay, so like this, you will have the repercussions on the in the in the business that you are maintaining. It's not like, so yeah, my server is down, okay, 2 hours, application is down, after that we fixed it, we clap it. No, you have to face later things, by the way. All right, so that is where I wanted to bring you the so seriousness from the very introduction here. Okay, before actually getting into the training program, I wanted to set you the context that, hey, your application is down is not so easy that you can take it on the real world. Okay, I'm not saying every business that you work in is the same seriousness, but however, while you actually try to work on your role, why you need to devalue just looking at the business, right? You can still give the max to be available. You take a Airbnb as an example, right? Airbnb has built a lot of systems, okay, open source systems, for the problems they have dealt with. You take LinkedIn, so they have built a lot of systems. Even though those are LinkedIn is down, what happens at max, right? So nothing. Okay, so but they have built a uh, lot of tools, so and open source data. You take Netflix, okay, so you take Gap company. Okay. So these all companies have contributed heavily on the open source, on the problems that they faced. And okay, so, and they gave it back, right? So I mean, just look at the businesses, so who are not non so critical, has done many things. So but when you actually try to come to the businesses who can impact, you know the many lives, by the way, so that is where the seriousness will come into picture. All right. So I'll just take a pause here and I'll move on to the real content, I mean, actual training program. So technical things. So just an introduction about the seriousness itself. I hope every one of you got this. And the training is all about observability. I think this word is quite okayish, or people would have heard about it already. But monitoring is generally the famous word, which is there from quite some time. But the problem with the monitoring is uh, you will come to know what went wrong, but why it went wrong. But you will not know that why it went wrong. Meaning, I think a simple analogy that we can bring in here is a car analogy. So probably, you have a dashboard on your car. Probably you see a high heat signal. Now that signal on the dashboard tells you that something is wrong with the car, but what went wrong you don't know, right? Maybe an engine oil can go low. Okay, maybe your radiator liquid went low. Okay, so, or the car you have been driving, so probably like, so you're right, you're going on a mountain, your terrain is high. Due to that reason, it went, engine is overheating. Okay. So there are many factors that comes into picture. So that's where the monitoring fails to tell you that why it went wrong. You'll always come to know what went wrong because, probably, probably your service is up and running and suddenly it went down. You know that is down. Okay. But why it went down? Probably you have to debug in further to get it. And that's where the tools will come into picture to help you debug better. And that's where the observability comes in picture. Okay. So that's where, uh, going back to the previous problem, like if an issue happens, at least for an example, even in the serious systems, now rather than sitting blindly that, so what went wrong, and, so probably a lot of people, what immediately they'll do, they'll restart of the services. And today, even we talk to so many, I mean, generally, like, whenever I work in a consulting firm and when I go to some customers, like, so still they they work on some unethical practices, like, restarting the services every night. Okay. Restarting the servers every fortnight. All these malpractices are still there. Okay. I'm sure that every one of you at least have a, uh, have a uh, bank account with HDFC. Okay. I'm sure that every one of you would be still receiving a message as saying that, okay, your service will not work for so and so time. At least once in a month, once in 2 months, you'll generally receive that message. Okay. Because they're doing a heavy maintenance during that particular time. But whereas, unfortunately, I mean, if you have another account, let's say the same equivalent, same equivalent bank that you have is ICICI. I'm just talking about the private sector, not the public sector banks. So you go with the ICICI, but you'll never receive a message saying that, hey, I am bringing down my services. I barely see. Last 2, 3 years, I have barely seen one message telling they are down. Okay. So it is all about engineering practices. Okay. And also why HDFC, even though try to send out a message, because they have a lot of repercussions in such a way that, when they don't have the confidence on what they're releasing the software, they essentially publish a message to the customer saying that, hey, we are going to go down for some time. Why? Because the governance like RBI and all tells is, if you're actually, if you're actually going to have an impact on your releases, by the way, you upfront inform your customers. So I'll not take any action to you because that's a planned downtime. But whereas, you go to go on, try to do with a lot of confidence and you actually fade it out, then probably you have to face the repercussions. So that's where these companies try to play a little safe game. So sending you message kind of a thing, right? So they need maturity. But whereas other scale banks, they have maturity, by the way. So they are already operating on the maturity because they invest a lot uh, on the technology. I mean, running the technology at a best possible way, right? So now, why why I'm bringing that example again is, when you actually try to be and operate on the production. So if something is going wrong, why it is going wrong also, you need to have an information. So probably at the release time itself or the runtime is second story, but during the release time also, you need to know that yes, something is going wrong. So probably a log should tell. Okay. So probably a tray should tell. Okay. So it's not like so easy that I'm releasing my application, I'm all good. You will have upstream, downstream systems as well. You have a lot of journeys. Okay. So now let's say if you want to actually create an account with a bank, at least you end up touching so many services. Okay. I'm not sure how many of you taken a online accounts at least. If you ever try to take a online account directly on the mobile banking, okay, you beat it like, so Kotak 911 account or IDFC online accounts, so so there may be some other banks who does provide the accounts online. Earlier, Paytm used to be there. Okay. So it takes at least like, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of time for your account to get ready. So because they had to touch a lot of systems behind the scene. So it's like, in middle, one system has been upgraded, by the way. Now your upstream systems and the downstream systems also may get impacted. It's not so easy that, I release my application, so everything will go smooth. So you have to be very sure about, something happening on the left and right as well. So the observability is something that brings you an ability to look at, what went wrong even on the left to right, by the way. Whereas the monitoring can tell you only at your system whether it is functioning or not. Okay. But if it is not work functioning, it will not be able to tell you whether it is problem on the left side or right side. Okay. So that is where the observability is all about. And in order to do that, okay, so in order to look at left and right, okay, there are three things that will help you a lot. So first, looking at your service alone, so which will tell you is, or which is good or bad by using metrics. I think every one of is aware of this particular metric thing. Okay, so Prometheus kind of a thing. So you monitor something and it will export some metrics, and you'll put it on the dashboard and you see the thing. So where you'll come to know up and down or kind of a thing, right? Which is all good. Okay. So, and to an extent, some people even aware of, so the next system also probably like, so these systems emit a lot of logs. Okay. So what is happening? So for an example, any request came, that request information, what it has done, it actually put it on the system. Okay. So then, uh, I mean, there are certain systems who takes these particular logs, okay, and it will go and store it in some centralized place for you to refer those particular logs in future purpose. And even on these particular events, there are some security analysis also will happen. Okay, so which some fraud detection systems and even security detection systems will be there. SAM tools, SIM tools, like fraud detection tools, these kind of a tools you have available, so which analyze these particular logs also in the company. Okay, and that also these logs also have a technical information where it will help you when something goes wrong. Probably my database password is expired. Okay, so it will start putting a log saying that I'm not able to connect to the database. Okay, so probably I'm connecting to a third-party service. So probably my application is trying to connect to, uh, let's say some third party. For an example, for a bank, NPCI is a third party, just as an example, right? So then I'm trying to contact NPCI, and NPCI will is maybe their certificate is expired. Okay, then my application start failing, right? So different scenarios will come into picture. So where your logs will help you telling, okay, uh, when the request failed in the metric, it will show that there is a failure. Okay, there's for a failure, there's a metric came, but why it failed, the log will come and show you, by the way. Okay, yes, this is the reason. Unless until you read the log, you will not come to know about it. Okay, which is fine. But however, okay, so however, in your journeys, by the way, the previous example which I'm telling, so I mean, now let's say if you are actually, I mean, your request is actually flowing through different services. And at one point of time, one service is actually failing. So which service is failing? Or your request is taking a quite amount of time. For an example, I mean, my request is supposed to be served in, let's say, 300 milliseconds. It is going to till 3 seconds. Until 3 seconds, I'm not getting the response. Just imagine, just as an imagine, you try to enter your password in your mobile app. It is not giving you a login screen of your mobile bank for 3 seconds. Do you feel comfortable? Maybe 3 seconds is not so, I mean, is okay unless until you're so techy. I mean, who's so used to that app or you're so technical guy can understand that. Maybe you can understand the delay. I think 3 seconds for a normal user is still okay, right? But let's go beyond 10 seconds. If 10 seconds I'm not getting a login screen, there is something fishy. So this 10 seconds of my application, like I'm a login service, I'm supposed to give it in less than 300 milliseconds. I'm taking 10 seconds, but why I'm taking 10 seconds? I will not write the log. I have a metric shows me that I'm taking 7 seconds. I come to the log, there is nothing running because I mean, I received a transaction, I completed the transaction, the information I can write it. And it's not like any other exception cases like, I am functioning, I'm not functioning because my certificates are fine, my database passwords, everything are fine. Okay. So I'm not the guy, but I'm actually having a downstream systems where I actually connect. Those guys are actually causing the problem. How do I come to know about those particular things? So that's where the traces will come into picture. So the third thing, which is a very important thing, so which can give you the full visibility of the observability, is all about these traces. Without traces is very difficult to deal with the production world. Okay, what went wrong? So that is where these three things is all about the observability. Okay, so on this particular training, so we have kept this particular training as a 4-week program. I don't think so it will happen in 4 weeks. At least a week or more than a week, it might happen extra. But actually, our wish was like, so just splitting into 4 pieces of this total training. So whereas the first one, even before to the first week, I think today, I mean, post the sessions, you'll receive a bootcamp related thing. So we talked about the application, that we are going to do in this particular training. So that application we will try to give you for you to host and understand how is it working. Okay, so just functionally on the UI, like how this application is working. And post that, okay, I think when we start the training, so we're going to start with the metrics. The first week is going to be the metrics. So, and then the second week is going to be the logs plus tracing. And the third week, from third week, actually, you're going to get into a, so start feeling how in the company, how you actually work on the things, right? So that's where we talk about alerting, the correlation of the links. General terminologies like SLOs, SLIs, these kind of things that you will talk about. And the fourth week is going to be something, again, additional some other tools around this. So uh, where you will see some profiling tools. Okay, so some eBPF, like a kind of a monitoring, which will give you more better secure way of things. Okay, uh, and also we'll start working on the AI related things as well. Okay, which I have not mentioned later. I'll try to mention that. So this is the 4-week program we are trying to do, and each week for each topic you'll be having a practical, and that practical will show you the problem and the solution that you are actually learning from that particular one, from that particular topic. We'll apply that particular solution. We'll move on to the next topic. So that's where on the week one, if you look at, so we are going to get different topics, especially I think Prometheus around, like Prometheus, PromptUL, especially. A lot of queries that we'll try to do. So which is a time taking topic also, because that is the most important thing. But however, again, in the today's world, actually, that may not be too much time taking as well. So with the AI world of coming things, all you need to have is an understanding of what you're actually needed, and you can convert that into a code. So the query, I think earlier takes, I remember even taking days and days to build one dashboard. One single dashboard takes days and days, because you have to run with a lot of trial and error method on the data, on the queries. But today's world, I don't think so you'll take that much time, because you have efficient tools available. Not only the Google search, you have AI specific tools which is available. So will not take much time, but still is an interesting topic actually that you learn. And also generally you have some different so methodology metrics that different people look at different kind of metrics. Probably it is called as a red, use, golden signals from Google. Different things are there. So we'll look those particular, especially the first week is all about collecting different metrics. Let's say if I have 75 services, I should see every service in the dashboard. So that kind of a thing exercise we will be doing it in the first week. And not only the infra related metrics, will go beyond to the app level metrics as well. So that means, like, let's say, since I'm bringing in a bank based application, so I will try to show that, so probably, let's say, if any transactions is happening, now let's say probably UPI as an example, how much UPI amount has been, so how much transaction of UPI amount has happened today. So kind of a thing as an example, right? So we can show even the business metrics also from the application metrics that we get it. So to that level, we'll get it. And post that, the second week is all about collecting the logs of different services, and so keeping it inside the centralized place, and how do you query them. So here we use Loki. So we'll talk about how do you query that in Loki. And then we also talked about traces, like, so the traces also requires a log backend. So we'll talk about the tracing and the tracing backend, this particular thing. So by second week, you should have a full visibility of the, any problem happens. So at least you should be able to, so get directly pinpointing where the solutions actually happen. So from the third week, as I mentioned, so it comes little, real world terminologies, especially, and also like, alerting things when you actually get into the real world. So how the alerts will come, and how do you define how do you define whether this is a real alert, not an alert, kind of a thing. So we'll just look into that kind of aspect, and probably some other things. RUM also we'll talk about, real time user monitoring. RUM stands for. Okay. So these particular things we'll talk about the third week, and how do we implement that particular one. And even earlier also, like, so these particular topics also, we are going to talk about some niche topics that, for an example, if I need to have a long-term storage of my Prometheus, so how do I have it? And what are the what are the different things that you need to consider? So probably, let's say if I need to define a Prometheus thing, by the way, it's not like you just go and install Prometheus and run it, right? In companies, it won't happen. You have to plan. If I need to plan, I need to understand how many services are coming, okay, how many metrics are coming, okay, how many days I want. Based on that, I had to provide a plan. Okay, hey, I want this size of system, and this okay, so this size of system in CPU, memory, and disk, because this is the, these are the metrics that I want. So how do you do the calculations, kind of thing? That applies to logs as well. And I think logs today, the low key approach may not be needed, okay, but still planning will be there. So certain such topics will be niche topics. You will see that, we're generally probably, when you actually start with the beginner level of monitoring learning, you'll not see those particular things. Okay. And the fourth week is all about, I think, again, as I mentioned, so the profiling, by the way, continuous profiling, which is very important thing. And EBPF observability also is another thing that we'll talk about. And another important thing where, companies are more important about is cost. You know, no one is interested to go with the paying observability as a cost. But wherever we worked in, now let's say I put it as an example, like, Amazon as. So Amazon, if I have some 500 accounts for a company, okay, to run run their company's Amazon things. So you have a Amazon landing zone. In the landing zone, you have different accounts for different applications. By the way, let's say you have 500 accounts, and if you look at the billing, by the way, the top account, at least the top three accounts, the other two accounts can go for mostly for data related. I mean, data related verticals, like, so wherever you're maintaining some data lake kind of a thing. So probably they can generally take the higher capacity of the price. But if you look at least I'm sure that, top three, you'll see observability. Whereas the applications who is making the business will not cost you much. But whereas uh, for just to maintain the application, you require the data, to be stored, which is metrics and logs. That will be the higher cost. Okay, so cost is a very important factor. Okay, you have to consider when you actually go for uh, observability area, by the way. So that's where we'll talk about some strategies around that as well. And and mostly that, so after those particular 4 weeks of the thing, so we generally get onto the I think you'll be able to do the root cause analysis and things like that. And this is also okay. So that's fine. And by end of the training, at least you'll be able to do, instrument a HTTP service with some metrics, how to get it, how to collect the logs, how to put some, traces around it. So you'll understand. So you'll be able to, define a service level, okay, SLOs, understanding what is your, you know, what is your error rate? Those particular things, like, so what you can afford, kind of a thing. You'll also see how to make dashboards with the code. Okay. And we'll also do the some postmortems, like, issues happened, like, why this happened. As I mentioned, the full tracing. We'll try to inject certain scenarios into the application. So we will analyze those particular things. Okay. So looking at, querying the logs and these particular things. So probably it's fine. Yeah, it's okay. And when we come to this particular training, who is the target audience for this? Okay, who are we? Or as a learner, who can come here is, if you're any guy who has done some, understanding on the DevOps learnings kind of a thing, so probably some training and have some hands-on onto the tools, or if you're a working guy who wanted to look at on the production side of the things. Okay, so how this monitoring at a scale happens. So those guys are welcome. And also, like, SREs, I think you want to start your career into the SRE side of the things. Platform engineering, one of the niche market which is right now currently going on. I think if you look at the DevOps, okay, so as I mentioned, the gap for DevOps is becoming quite thin in the market, whereas it exists. But however, people are looking towards more standardization in that area, so where the platform engineering comes into picture. But also, companies have some production engineering. So production engineers usually does the monitoring and as well as some functional work around it. Okay, some functional work around application as well. Okay, so those guys also can adopt this particular one, and cloud related guys as well. Whoever is a cloud engineers, who is running the application in the cloud also can adopt this particular codes. And not only them, by the way. So if you are actually coming from a L1 background, especially like you call it as NOC, OC, contact center, okay, central monitoring team, CMTs. Or if you are coming from that background, so if as long, I mean, you've been working on the alerts and escalation kind of a things, if you want to really go beyond and look towards, so how these are monitoring dashboards are being configured, yes, you can always learn this as well. And this course training, this course is going to run completely on Kubernetes. And I'm hoping whoever actually comes should have an understanding on the Kubernetes of how to run some application on Kubernetes along with the Helm chart, and have some basic understanding on what is a HTTP API, some networking understanding you should be having for this particular course to take. All right. And as I was mentioning, so there is certain AI things also which comes into picture here in this particular training. So we also wanted to offer the AI as a part of how do you inherit the AI tools into this particular training or in the work that you are going to do on the observability. So we'll talk about hosting the LLMs. Okay. So why hosting LLMs? Why not take the public LLMs? Because we can't take the public LLMs because the logs, whatever we're talking about, is going to have certain sensitive information also sometimes. Okay. So that's where we can't actually, so feed our metrics or logs to the public LLMs, which is a huge risk. Okay. So which no enterprise company don't even think about it actually. Okay. However, we don't want to lose the however, we don't want to lose the AI capabilities at the same time. So how do we do that? So we host our own things, right? So how do we host? So we'll talk about that as well. And also we'll understand about, while hosting. So what are the, how you actually choose the model according to your requirement. We'll see that. And also, we connect to the MCPs of different tools that what we have done, and how do you actually interact with your AI prompt to our tools directly. Okay. And also, like if there is any issues, like how we have done it manually, so how this tool AI tools can go ahead and find out those particular issues. So this is what we are going to learn with AI, by the way. And however, I generally talk or generally have a feeling that uh, AI is already there. What I will do all with all these particular things is a very just general common question, right? So I don't think so that at least in the very near future it would happen. So probably you can't trust the complete AI thing. So it can do the things wrong as well. It always needs a guidance. Okay. So which is where you always the human will be there in the loop, by the way. Kind of. Okay. It's not like human is completely replaceable with the things. Okay, so human is always be there, and AI is always his best buddy, which is available there, can do the work for him, kind of a thing, right? So for observability also it is the same thing. Okay, so you can't, so connect. You understood the anomaly of the particular issue by the way with the AI, and you can go and tell like go and fix that also. It can do it if everything goes fine, is all well and good. But what if goes wrong? Who will take the accountability? A tool is not something that can take an accountability, right? It's a tool. Okay. So the person who is running that particular one is so important. Okay. So that's where you eventually require all this particular knowledge to understand and work and interact with the AI kind of a thing. Okay. So that's where okay. In the production world, observability comes with a uh, comes with a uh, you know very important, very important rule that you'll be able to show that what is going on in your application in a dashboard kind of a thing. Okay. So just before wrapping it up, I think I took more than the time which was expected to be, but just last few minutes, I would like to just demo the application which you are going to receive today as a bootcamp. Uh, so this is the application that we have built for a banking kind of a thing. So whenever you log in, so however, maybe let's say any bank that you get it, so you will be able to so see those particular things. So like this. Payment didn't go through. So what was the reason? Now you need to find out. Okay. So those particular things. So you can any other application that you have. So we are going to, so have the same things here. My account is freezed and probably view pin. So different features. Okay. So all those particular things, I can take a loan here, can apply. I already have bunch of, I mean, we're simulating the traffic here. It's okay. So like this, we are going to do certain things, by the way. So it's a real application. And in order to power it up, actually, including all the databases and all, almost like 75 services which are coming into picture. Okay. So everything going to run on Kubernetes and we'll collect the metrics from there. And we are going to project everything in a dashboard. So it will come like this. So by end of the training, so we'll just try to put everything inside the dashboards. Probably the full banking overview, like I mentioned, some dashboards. Okay, what's going on? So payment success rate is completely going 100% is something it is telling. So just some numbers, by the way, it's okay. And also, like I have mentioned about UPI something, right? So how much UPI as a transaction which is happening. So there is some errors also here. It's okay. So sometime back we have generated some traffic. Okay, so we have some data. All right. So like this, you will get a business level, information also. You will get it. Okay. So I mean, some metrics like fraud real time. So if anything has been considered as bit anomaly that so something is not working as expected, so probably will come here as well. Okay. So fraud related things, and we'll be able to get it. Like this, different dashboards. We'll try to build it, and end of the day, like so by end of second week, and even I have mentioned the full KYC, right? So for an example, the UPI transaction is here. Now let's say this UPI transaction, so something marked as failed kind of a thing. So if I click on here the trace ID, so it will just get me like full trace of where it actually going. So here is where I'm getting the link. So my it actually started with a gateway service. Gateway is like probably like so your centralized API endpoint and get into a payment gateway. And from payment, it went on to your UPI service. UPI actually sent this information to fraud to detect this is a fraud or not before even initiating the transaction. And the transaction, went to the account service for whatever so reason that if you are actually sending an amount, by the way, it has to verify that you have the amount probably. And again, UPI service, again, talking to the account service, let's say payment is done. Again, it has to settle that amount in your account, detecting the balance, all those particular things. So if any place, so something is going on wrong here, so this tracing dashboard will help us a lot. Okay. So that's where, uh, yeah, I would like to conclude this particular session. So this training is all about giving you the confidence on how do you run the application, the production, you know, with the observability tools. If something goes wrong, how can you identify something wrong? So what are the practices that you need to follow? And yeah, so with the project that we have. So that comes to the end of my, I mean, delivery. I think I took more than half an hour. So if you have any questions, so you please raise your hand or keep it in the chat. I'll come to the chat later, but I'll take a interactive questions if you have any. When you raise a hand, I actually go by order of the people. I mean, if you are seeing an unmute option, you get an unmute option. So please take a look at this.
Hi, Raghu. This is Teja.
Yeah, hi.
Uh, Mokshak Teja. So I would like to understand like how many sessions you will be taking on LLM and the AI stuff, and how important us to learn that AI. I see AI is most of the companies are adapting it, and where exactly the current position in terms of SRE, which includes AI.
Okay. So see, when we talk about AI, you're not learning the AI to build an AI kind of a thing. That's a different role altogether. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So for an example, um, I mean, if you are using, let's say, a Grafana kind of a thing as a dashboard, so we'll not talk about how to build Grafana as a tool. That's a different thing. Okay. We
Mm-hmm.
consume Grafana as a tool. Okay. Now here on the AI also, we are going to consume that as a thing. So to give you a simple answer, how many sessions? I think we'll be able to do that in 4 or 5 sessions. What I wanted to achieve uh, as a session count perspective, and whatever we wanted to achieve is as a human, how actually he is interacting with the systems, and able to determine what is wrong. The same way, the other tool also will. To that level, we'll take it.
Okay, so after this session, are we able to build our own agent to monitor? As a helper agent to our systems, be it
Don't
with
re- you
yeah,
don't
be it
require
with us.
agent for this.
Okay.
Agent will do some work for you. Okay, right?
Mhm.
So end-to-end work
Correct.
kind of a thing. Okay. So your end-to-end work is the observability weather. Your AI will never replace Prometheus, never replace logs, so all these tools are inevitable. Okay. Now an
Yeah.
agent, what you can do is if let's say an incident comes, now rather than you go all the work to do, okay, you can trigger this AI kind of a thing. If you are calling that as an agent, but I'm not going to call that as an agent, but if you are when at least your understanding is that as an agent, yes, you'll get to that.
Okay, so that will be covered in our sessions.
Yeah. So any incident comes that can be invoked by AI. I mean, that can be invoked to AI to get the solution for it. Yes.
Correct. At least to analyze logs on
Yeah,
behalf
yeah.
of us.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm fine. Thanks.
Yeah.
Hi, Raghu. This is Shankar. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, Raghu, my question is, I have a experience in IT industry in around no, 12 to 13 years experience. In that 12 to 13, I have experience in IBM Tivoli monitoring. It's kind of no, it's kind of a monitoring and observatory tool. So, will it experience really helps me that that one?
See, IBM Tivoli, I heard this name but never worked on it,
It's a
honestly.
monitoring tool, agent based. So we need to install each and every agent in each and every, server in the,
Yeah,
organization. So from there we'll get, alerts, to our console.
understood.
So it will reach to it will reach to service now, or earlier we used to, use this one, remedy. So any possibility that experience will, help us to understand the SRE.
See, what the tooling which we are giving here is a different tooling. If you look at it's a different tool. I'm not really sure. I cannot comment on the Tivoli because I'm not sure about the capabilities that it has,
Mhm.
by the way. But these tools actually, which is more generalized and widely used in the market, is the tooling that we have picked it up.
Oh,
Okay, from the
mhm.
general industry perspective. But however, if you remove the tooling layer, if you look
Yeah.
remaining things, I think those remaining things will still remain same. Okay,
Yes,
any
yes, yeah.
monitoring system, be it Prometheus or let's say Nagios or Tivoli. So every
Mhm.
tool does the same work. but their
Yeah,
approaches
thank
may
you.
be different. That approach may become, I mean, may bring extra features kind of a thing. That's the
Right.
only difference. But beneath still remains same. And yeah,
Yeah.
so if you are actually looking, I mean, to increase, I mean, sorry, not increase by the way. So if you want to, if you're really looking up to add some value to your resume, I would suggest, I think, to get into the engineering side of the roles,
Mm-hmm.
maybe name it as a DevOps or kind of a thing. You kind of understand that particular practice, and then this course will help you in understanding to understand the full picture rather than an end
Right.
person sitting outside. There's an alert came. Okay, I know who are all the teams to engage. Okay, I know this problem, what to fix. Rather than that mindset, you can really get to the little, ahead of the things, by the way. So, which is also an engineering role.
Yeah.
And
Got
these
it.
tools generally get you, I mean, get you actually go and talk, because if you go into IBM Tivoli, I'm not sure how many interview opportunities that you get it, right? So generally,
No, it's
yeah,
completely
whereas the
different.
generalized tools can get you better. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Hi, Raghu.
Not able. Yeah, yes.
Raghu, yeah, the previous questions clears some few of my doubts, and this about the recording and all. Means we'll be getting the recordings or how it will be, because sometimes we may means it is not possible to join due to some other work, something like.
Correct. So recording is going to be the part of the training. So you'll get a lifetime recording.
Okay, there's no expiry then. Okay.
Correct.
And the application which you mentioned, means which you are going to share us
Yeah.
to host that, any cloud facility will be provided, something like any cluster, or how we can actually test it
Yeah.
from our end.
You have to bring your own account to test this,
Okay.
and the charges will incur. Yeah, and you should be able to bear.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. First version of, I think this point even I missed to tell. So every one of you need to bring, let's say, AWS as a consider. Let's go with AWS. So you can go with AWS, and the first, if at least until we complete the training, we can run everything in a instance kind of a thing, because we'll try to run Kubernetes on top, and we'll be able to take one big instance, uh, running Docker inside, Kubernetes on top of a Docker. And but end of the training, so we'll try to put it everything in a proper, so standard clusters. Probably database means database clusters, Kubernetes means EKS cluster, proper load balancers, proper certificates. Okay, all those particular things. I'll give you the code, but every day I will not use that extensive hardware. We'll take one hardware, one VM, but that two of VM also will try to take a spot instance kind of a thing. The 2 3 hours, whatever you practice. So even that can go for a lesser cost. So that is the idea.
So for this, a free AWS account will be
No, no,
given.
free will not be possible.
I mean, the to free version we meant we
No, free
can.
is not possible. Done. It's we're talking big application, not
Mm-hmm.
one Java service that you're running.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's all I have. Raghu.
Yeah, sure.
Thank
Thanks.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hi, sir. This is Dinesh. Actually, how this course will be useful for MLOps guys? Yeah? Because even the ML observability is also becoming more prominent in the industry now.
the tool stacking remains same even for MLOps guys. But here the dashboards which I built more related to the application related, I mean HTTP based applications, right? If you are
Yeah.
actually having ML based requirements, I think yeah. So tools remain same, but however, tools, even the other aspects also, whatever we talk about, this industry standards, everything remains same. But the only the thing is the application. But what you see is a HTTP based application.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Surya, not able to hear you. Moving on. Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sorry. Good
Sir,
morning.
I have few. Like my first note is currently we are using Datadog in our organization. So there in tags, I'm able to see Terraform is equal to true. So are we using Terraform to create any alerts, or like are we doing manually here? Like,
Everything is going to be through coded only. So that's where, I mean, when you say Terraform, by the way, so as I mentioned, so the creation of the instance and setting up the application to bring up, even the bootcamp, what we are going to share is a Terraform code. But we are not going to talk about those tools. Will not teach you Kubernetes, will not teach you pipelines, will not teach you Terraform, these particular things. Because the expectation is you already have an understanding of it and how do you use it. So what do we offer is also a code uh, on top of it. Yeah.
okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, but I have one more doubt. Like, sir, generally we used to do like Sidecar containers agents for getting logs and everything. So I mean, for getting logs from our applications to our platform, we are using sidecar containers. So, are you going to taught us like how to configure those things, or like how it is like?
Again, that that is a little I mean overlapping thing, right? I am hoping if you know Kubernetes means you already know how to deal with sidecar container.
Okay,
That's where as a prerequisite we already said that you should know about hands-on at least running containers on Kubernetes. So
okay, got it.
yeah, if you are aware of it, I think you'll be able to understand this better.
Okay. Sir,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry, one more note. Like,
Tell me now.
sir, generally, yeah, we have synthetic monitoring. Is there like we used to see like it is failing for 5 minutes after again it become normal. Actually, we are not able to identify issue. Like we see like something is wrong only for 5 minutes, so everything is working fine. So we close the incident. So after completion of this course, am I able to understood? Like, am I go through those things like logs and metrics? Am I able to understand things what is happening after this
Correct.
course?
Correct.
Okay, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir. Sir,
Yes, Nagshankar. Not able to hear you. Moving on. Karunakar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Hi, Raghu. Yes, Karnakar.
Yes, Karunakar, go ahead.
Are you going to cover this open telemetry?
Yeah, Votel is a foundation. Yeah.
Hotel is foundation.
Yeah.
And also it's mandatory that the Kubernetes is required for this because I'm into observability.
Mm.
For the past 4 years, I'm into AppD and Dynatrace.
Mhm.
Is it mandatory that Kubernetes is required, or we can?
No, who emit the things is important, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I think you essentially, I mean, unless until I have something emitting the data, you'll
Okay.
not be able to observe, right? So that's where, I mean, generally, if you have a hands-on, it's good to have.
Okay. One more thing, you told that it will cost for if it is not possible for free time, right? For if
Yes.
we take. How
Yes.
much it may cost totally if we go?
See, that again subjected to the number of hours that you practice, by the way. And I don't think so. It will cost you more than 100 rupees per hour kind of a thing.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Maximum.
100 also little high side only. I think
Okay,
it
okay,
won't cost 100 also.
okay. And you will be providing the steps or the documentation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For each and everything.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, Raghu. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Unable to hear you, Anantalakshmi. Moving on. Krishna.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
So, do we need apps knowledge before going to these sessions?
No need. No need.
I mean, you will give basic knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And also, actually, I'm working in SRE only, but we are getting like a different task, to scale up these instances. Okay, so at that time we are not doing any that activity, but we are working with the platform team when we have such a task. But now I move to banking domain, so if I get any such requirement, how we can proceed? I want to know that one. Can we discuss at least um, that one in
So
our
that is a
session?
different part of the training, right? So that's also subjective, by the way. So what kind of requests you're getting, like hardware increasement and all, is a different thing
Infra,
altogether.
infra, infra. Suppose
Correct.
suppose any spike is there. Okay, and if you want to scale up it, like nodes, number of nodes, at that time we need to
Yeah.
uh,
So that is
add
not
some
part of the
code.
observability job, actually, or observability part at least. It's a part of like other roles, right? So whether you name it as DevOps engineer or platform
But
engineer, this
sometimes we are, I mean, like now SRE means they are expecting both DevOps and SRE, right? So
that's what I
that's
told, right?
why.
So the same deck that you're seeing, if you're actually coming from that background only, you will be able to. You
Okay.
should know that's a different knowledge altogether. So this is a small part of the role. It's not like I'm talking 100% of DevOps. This is not a DevOps training, right? It's observability
Okay.
training, which is a part of your DevOps or any other engineer role. And but we wanted to showcase that in a little, little depth. I mean, just skill way kind of a thing, depth and scale.
Yeah. So actually, we have deployed in OpenShift. I mean, this Kubernetes.
Mhm.
So there we are monitoring our application. Okay. Do
Yeah.
you have such any session, one session like that? I mean,
Kubernetes
how?
OpenShift only same only. So we are hosting this everything on Kubernetes.
I mean, how we have to deploy into OpenShift like that? That
That is again
configuration.
that is DevOps role. I mean, at least that's an understanding. You should have an understanding on the
Okay.
Kubernetes as a
Okay.
prerequisite for this.
And alerting, how are we discussing about this alerting?
Yeah, alerting is part of our this training. Correct.
Okay. So, but actually, as I listen from Shiva classes, right, they are including these apps as part of the deployment process. Then only, I mean, it will be helpful for our monitoring also. So that how we are including this one
The AI
in
is a
our
very
session.
common tooling, right? So you can't, AI is not just for observability, not for DevOps. AI is for everyone. Even doctor can use it, AI. Even a lawyer can use AI. It's AI as a tool, everyone can use it. Computer as a tool, anyone can use it. AI as a tool, anyone can use it. So
Okay.
if other part of the training is telling AI, by the way, it is in their context. If I'm teaching AI, that is in part of this particular observability context.
Okay. So here observability, we are using Prometheus, creating dashboards on those things.
Yeah, Prometheus is the first big thing. Correct.
And like a Splunk, are we discussing anything?
Instead of Splunk, we are going with Loki here.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey Raghu, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Sri.
Hi Raghu. Yes,
Good.
okay. Actually, my organization is implementing an SRE. Like, is this course enough to gain some knowledge? And
Mhm.
they're also using like a total Splunk observability cloud, Splunk only. Like, I think in this course, like you are teaching New Relic. Is this compatible to Splunk only?
No, Splunk is completely different with New Relic, or you may be shipping the Splunk logs also to have it in the New Relic. I never seen that scenario actually. But this is completely about implementing the observability. Correct. Training is all
Okay.
about. And
Like,
New
I
Relic
actually
and
want to.
Splunk are corporate. I mean, paid tools, by the way. Like, not every company may like it. after
Okay.
some time. Things because too costly, right? Too
Hmm.
costly. And Splunk, I think we don't actually consider using it for logs purpose. Okay, Splunk is so
So,
famous for SIM purpose.
yeah,
So
they're also using for monitoring also like Splunk Observability Cloud, totally on Splunk for
uh,
logs, traces, and
so
everything.
I don't think so any company has that much money to spend just for Splunk for log storing purpose. It's too costly, boss. Because they still go for Splunk is only for SIM purpose. Is for the
Okay.
cyber security purpose. Actually, I already told in the session, right? So you take the logs, probably you can ship it to some security purpose. So SIEM is one of the area, by the way. So we in the cyber security, they'll analyze the logs, they'll analyze the patterns, and they tell that there is something
Okay.
in terms of I mean in terms of security perspective. Security I can spend money, but just for knowing the issue of the application, I think open source tools can still do the job. I'll not prefer, but anyhow, company have the money. I think if they are offering the services, you can go for it. I'm not denying that. But
Okay.
at least I have not seen that. So Splunk day to day I use it, but especially for SIM purpose only. But I'm not seen their complete observability dashboard of Splunk so far in my
Actually,
experience.
we got the access and everything. We have like total on Splunk.
Understood.
Oli. Yeah.
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah. Is this helpful to me?
Uh, so if you are exclusively looking for Splunk, the answer is no. But if you are looking for in a generalized, I mean, thing like
Observability.
how,
Yeah.
yeah, the answer is
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. Okay. I got it. Thank you. Like New Relic is like I want to like what is application performance monitoring, synthetic monitoring. We
New
can
Relic
see new.
is one shop stop kind of a thing, right? So all these particular tools embedded in one place, and you get that.
Okay. That's all. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, Raghu.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I'll be very honest with you. I have completed 1 month training with other institute as well. But somebody, I think that guy is your ex-student. He specially recommended me this, so that is why I'm here. So a
The
few questions.
trainer is ex-student,
It
or
seems because I think he was either or the I think Siva sir's student.
maybe. It's okay, but the trainer is our ex-student. You're telling, correct?
No, no.
Uh-huh.
The person who has recommended you.
Recommended. Okay. Okay. Understood.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry for that. Yeah. Thing is that I like the way that you are teaching, planning to teach the application, and what about the documentation around that? Because as I told you, I have done that training. Like I understand that how previously we were installing differently and then making the changes in different files and do the wiring. But now Cube Prometheus stack, Helm chart is in picture, and now you don't need to do any wiring. CRD is in place. You just talk to CRD, and things will start going there. And then you have central collection and all that stuff. So I have right now I'm in testing ops, and I'm
Mhm.
planning to go to SRE. The only I have given 2 3 interviews as well, but I think from my experience, I think I need at least 2 step down, like deep, in making other person understand that I know things. As soon as I tell about the holistic picture and all that stuff, like how my project architecture, it's fine. But when somebody starts scratching, okay, so let's talk about Grafana alloy, and then how you do this river configuration, and then how things start collecting. There, I struggle to tell because I don't know. So,
Understood.
what do you think that this course is for me?
See, from the observability perspective, if you're looking for the depth, yes, the answer is yes. But for some of the things that you mentioned is not particularly related to this because, like, let's say if you're appearing for an interview, definitely, let's say an observability, if you talk, maybe so it's an 1 hour of interview. As an let's take 1.5 hour also, right? So they can't go beyond maybe 15 20 minutes for this particular topic in general, right? Because the other
True.
tools are also quite important, right? So in that case, what I'm trying to tell is, if you're actually looking at the observability as a depth, by the way, and also this depth will really help you in showcasing as well, because this is one of the experience that I generally face in the interviews, by the way. When we actually talk to the people, they come with a lot of confidence. Okay, probably you throw an example saying that, hey, you write a deployment YAML file, they'll do immediately tuck tuck tuck. But however, when we actually talk about, okay, find the same deployment, if I want to do it in the production, okay, so without any zero downtime, so then the things start fading. Okay, so that is where, okay, and also a lot of people come to the interviews telling that, I have 5 microservices and I'm doing the job. Okay, that straightforward process that you are not a working guy, you're a trained guy. Okay, so that's where we wanted to break the two things here. So we wanted to give you the feeling of the depth with the project that we are actually doing it. And that's where even when you actually go to the interview, probably you can always say that, so yes, you've been already telling the application architecture with other tools, by the way, of your project or the planned project that you want to cover in the interview. But rather than stopping at 5 services, now you can go for 60, 65 services, right? So that gives some, so some feeling criticality to the other person, at least real business is coming from. Because none of the businesses will run with 4 or 5 microservices pods. It's just not possible.
Yeah. Okay. So, plus, I am not sure, like, what you are covering, but I understand that, like, whatever hotel and all that, Jigar, you things will cover, then rest, like, if you have an understanding, then I can catch up with other tools as well.
Yeah.
One more thing is that I am coming from the background of AWS cloud.
Hmm.
Okay. And then again, like, nowadays, as you know, like you already have a section regarding the artificial intelligence and how this is done. So nowadays, every company is asking, like, I'm telling my interview experience. Okay, so how you are leveraging AI? Right? And as soon as you talk these kind of things, they say, okay, so you store your logs and all that stuff, and then you start doing trends and then train your models and all that stuff. As soon as you say that, then the storing of the logs, where are you storing, what is your retention policy, those kind of things. Are you going to cover somewhat
Yeah,
around
yeah.
that?
That's where the niche things I mentioned, right? So, so it's not like just open the dashboard, send the log, see the dashboard, and close the things. It's not going to happen that you essentially need to have all these particular things. I mean, depends upon the business, by the way. You have to convey. Now, for an example, if you are going from a bank perspective, and if you're actually trying to tell that, so what happens to your log after 30 days? Okay, so some of the logs you can't even remove. Okay, you have to keep it written for and that is 12 years long time as well, also according to some of the compliance related things. So how do you handle that? So those kind of things is what we're talking about. Even some of the niche points which I have not mentioned in the dashboard, I explained this particular point as well. So those are some touch points which is very, very important actually in terms of interview aspects to showcase that you're a real time guy.
Okay. So, last few questions and around this timing and all that stuff. Number one, the every session is going to be 1.5 hours.
Yeah. So 1.5 hour, Monday to Thursday, by the way. So starting coming from Monday, 4 days a week. 3 days, we'll just give it for your practice. Yeah, just let's not make it too much overwhelming because we're targeting majorly the working people for this particular training. So most of you are working. So yeah, that is the reason.
Okay. And what about the like payment of fees and all that? Because I am in one of the community groups, and
Yeah, you will
like
get the details there. So with technical discussions, we can discuss
okay,
it. Yeah.
okay. I think I'm good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. So I would like to ask one thing. So whatever the course which you are discussing, so that exactly we need. Actually, I just got into one of the organization, which is a fintech organization. So it's been developed from ground. It's a greenfield one. So there is a responsibility of making an SRE stabilized in that for that particular application. So whatever we have been covering here, it's like perfectly fit there. But the one thing is they are going to use the ECS setup, not the EKS. That's the one thing. And that the second thing is, I would like to know this the Grafana and whatever it is. Those would be the paid services or the self-hosted ones. I would like to know that point as well, considering the budgeting aspect.
All of this in the training will go for self-hosted only, not for any SaaS services. But however, I mean, when you actually go into a company, it may turn around in any of the way. Doesn't matter, right?
Okay, it's also possible to get it through a self-hosted if they are okay. Means I just wanted to give them this is how it goes if you go with the SaaS and if you go with the self-hosted. So for that information, I must. And what about this thing? As it is an ECS based one, so I just wanted to know before just stepping in. So I can learn what the EKS is because I already had an experience with the EKS Kubernetes, but that could be mapped with the ECS based setups. That would I would like to know. I hope it works.
See, here for the practice purpose, you need some application somewhere hosted. That's where we're picking up Kubernetes. It doesn't really matter need to be Kubernetes, right? So when you actually emit the metrics, doesn't matter whether it is coming from a VM or whether it is coming from a container or an orchestration tool like Kubernetes. Doesn't matter. You're emitting the metrics, collecting the metrics and going on. But since actually Kubernetes is bit widely used, we are picking up Kubernetes. That's all.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Hello. Hi, Raghu.
Yeah.
So I have few doubts. So currently in our organization we are using Datadog. So I just had a doubt that by end of this course, I could see this is completely regarding the Prometheus and Grafana, right? So will I be able to at least like match over this training and I could be able to utilize this knowledge across the Datadog. So will it be useful for me?
See, Datadog is a complete alternative tech stack that what we actually talk about, but serving the same purpose again. But if you are exclusively looking for Datadog, I don't think so.
Mhm.
I mean, it is the appropriate like Apple kind of a thing.
Okay,
May
okay.
not be completely
So,
suitable.
mhm. Are we going to, cover up this Fluent bit as well? So, as part of this course?
Yeah, for shipping the
Okay.
logs we require.
Uh-huh. And you were mentioning that Helm, right? So Helm is for the deployments. The application deployment and all these things. So that is what you're meant for.
No, Helm is just a deployment tool to the Kubernetes. It doesn't matter whether you're deploying an app or a tool like tool like Prometheus. Doesn't matter. So
Yes,
you're
yes.
just
So
doing, yeah.
what are we going to deploy using Helm here? So that's what I just want to understand.
All these
The
components, right? So
Prometheus.
all the tools, like, you name it as
Okay.
okay, Prometheus, Yager, Grafana,
Mm.
okay, all
So
these particular.
even this application, the banking application that we are going to just deploy to Helm.
Yeah.
So we could just okay. And I have another doubt. Uh, so currently, you mentioned that it would be AWS, right? So will I just be able to use Azure for the same purpose? And then, parallelly, can I get utilizing this Azure services and then do the same thing?
You
Will I
can.
be able to do?
Yeah,
Okay.
because as I mentioned, the full training I'll run it on a VM only, just for the looking at the cost perspective. I don't want to create
Okay.
a full clusters all the time. But end of the day, I am actually needed to have a functional application emitting the things, and I need to observe on the other side. That's all. So that's where I'm taking a
Mm-hmm.
standalone instance, which is EC2 in in AWS. If you're going
AWS.
for Azure, you just take a virtual machine of the same capacity and you run it. It should work. There's no.
Okay. So it is just for the application. Sorry, the virtual machine that we just where we deploy the application. That's it. So
Yeah,
only for that purpose we are just using this one. Okay.
right.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So got it. Thanks for clarification.
Yes, Satish, not able to hear you.
Um,
Am
Yes.
I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Raghu. So this is regarding like, see, if any new, see, already a client is coming to us, an application is already running, and they're asking to implement this SRE. So those kind of things will be discussed here, like application is running in microservices. So we have to architect, I mean, we have to give overall entire picture. So how the SLO, SLAs, and these things will be discussed on error budgets. All this stuff we have to discuss with the client, and we have to assure them so the reliability and scalable, so, and automation, these things. So is this will be discussed in the course?
Yes.
Okay, and also the architect of this application will be discussed, right? So how the
Not really, because we don't
okay.
want to get in that set, right? So we
Okay,
are
no,
actually
because now
eh,
without knowing that, how can, I mean, the logs will be, we'll come to know where the logs are generating and how they are pulling by the Prometheus. So those kind of things we have to know, right? So first we have to know how the application is behaving.
yeah, that's where we are hosting the application. On top of that, only we are running the observability, right? But when you asked about architecture of the application, it doesn't fall
Okay,
under this role, right? Or
okay,
this training, not role, I would say, for training.
okay.
Because how does it matter whether you're picking up Oracle database or you're picking up Cassandra database?
No,
An
no, those
architecture decision.
middleware things, yeah, middleware things, backend things I'm not discussing. Like, so in the perspective of observability architecture will be discussed. That's what I'm
Yeah,
asking.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
That's
okay,
an
okay. And this Prometheus, and so how we are running, like whether we are using Docker or directly we are installing on a Linux VM. Um, so how we are configuring those things.
We'll put everything in Kubernetes only.
Okay, so as containers only we are running, as
Yeah,
a containers
yeah,
we are running.
yeah,
So you will be showing how we need to configure this Prometheus, like YAML file, Prometheus.yaml file. So what we have
yeah,
to do. Okay, okay,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And this will be five weeks, right?
Close to yes.
Okay, okay. Thanks, Raghu. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
Praveen, not able to hear you.
Oh,
Yes, Naren.
yeah.
You're
Raghu?
audible, Naren. Yes.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Naren.
Uh, I saw some of the Azure, concepts also in this syllabus. So, how much you are going to cover in the Azure?
No, there is no Azure concepts in this.
I saw in the detailed syllabus. I think I maybe okay, but in the detailed syllabus you mentioned that some Azure something.
No.
No. Okay, fine.
Hello. Hi, Raghu.
Yeah.
I think the syllabus link is accidentally given as Azure. That's the only thing.
That's what I'm thinking. Then we'll correct it.
Yeah. No, no worries. So I know you have talked about your approach multiple times, but just want to quickly touch upon. So basically, your approach is you will explain about the tool, the way it is works, and then you set up using this project bank observe. You said, right?
Yeah,
That is
on top of this project, yes.
okay. And second thing is the nowadays the AI ops, AI in operations is being the trend, right? So a lot of companies are adopting and also expecting while in interviews, what is your approach, how you have used. So mostly AI, particularly AI ops, is being used in areas like incident detection, alert noise reduction, and all that. So you will be touching upon those real-time scenarios, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And also there is in people who are using, right, usually the threshold setting and the noise reduction, right? Because nowadays, once you set up a lot of applications, too much of alerting, too much of noise will be there.
Yeah.
So you will be touching upon those threshold setting, because that also is important, right? Like for instance, CPU 80% will set up, right? It's based on that threshold. But now in reality, that becomes a noise some days. And sometimes the crucial days, it might be a genuine alert.
Correct.
So those scenarios also will be covering.
Correct. To an extent, yes. But however, it also becomes a subjective. Unless until we know the nature of the application, we cannot actually comment on it exactly also, right? But yeah, so there is a way to detect. So CP is a very classical example. Now, when you got the, I mean, what, see, the observability comes in a different way, right? So you're just looking like, so 80% is a concern. Okay. But actually, but what we wanted to look at it is what caused 80% is something that we need to understand from the observability perspective. So that is the difference that you will see generally. Yeah.
Okay. So overall, you will be showing us the setting up of those alerts from setting up and along with the dashboards and managing them as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And like as I mentioned, that becomes subjective. So, I mean, every 80% is not a concern. Also, because
Correct.
some job related applications will be there. They always run with higher capacity. Okay. But the job is invoked kind of a thing. So that should not, but that's where, like, observability, by the way, gives you confidence that what made you, look at 80. I mean, what made you to go through whether to consider this as an alert or not. And yeah, it's a very genuine question
Yeah.
actually, because the general observability tools that what we have cannot actually solve these particular problems. Also, like even in the observability, let's say you consider alert manager as a standard thing, you will not be able to, because that tool doesn't have any, that's a very simple tool to, okay, I got this message, I have to deliver this message. That's the simple purpose of alert manager, right?
Correct.
And I mean, it will not be able to handle this. So you end up writing mostly, at least if you are in big companies, you end up writing your own software around the alert managers. Okay, considering, like as I mentioned, so probably, I mean, with AI to an extent, you can solve that. Even let's say if before to the alert, actually you're putting an AI to determine that is a real alert or not. Yes, that can be a good use case to solve, by the way. But in some projects, and even my current project actually, so what we have done is, so we have built our own uh, I mean, threshold detection tool kind of a thing, our own, before sending it to the alert manager. So we will observe from the, Prometheus that any issue is coming in, or any other source, by the way, where it is coming in. So we will observe that, and we'll determine from different automation, by the way. So whether this is a job, okay, if it's a job, I shouldn't want to consider it, okay, as an alert incident kind of a thing, and how frequent it happened. It is actually happening in the same time. So some of the, analysis it will do, and then only it will send the alert. So just to avoid the noise. I think actually AI can be brought into that area to solve that in a better way also.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, and coming to the stack, LGTM stack you will be covering, or only I heard Loki you mentioned Grafana.
Correct.
Tempo and Mimir you're reaching upon?
No, tempo we are not going. I think we can touch also, it's fine. It will not take much time.
All right, thanks a lot.
We are going with Grafana in this, but sorry, not Grafana, my bad. Yagar in this, by the way.
Oh,
Tempo we are not touching. Yagar is a bit widely used, but yeah. So once one tool is there, I think it's
yeah, that should be.
Yeah. So only from Grafana we get Loki. We use regular Grafana and the Pyroscope. So three things are there.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes, Kishore.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, thank you for the introduction of the course. So I just joined a bit late for the session. Maybe I might have missed some of the parts which you already discussed, but I just want to check. I'm just going to through the content of the course. There is something called eBPF observability, like a Cilium here, Hubble, and Pixel. So the intention of this is to export the telemetry from virtual machine to what do you say, Prometheus? Is it the intention, or is there anything else we are doing with this?
Yeah. So it's basically the same purpose, but however, the way it actually does is a bit different way. Okay. So it just collect the metrics from the kernel level rather than the operating system level. That's the only difference you'll see, and which is considered as is the better way to do it in today's world going forward.
Okay, so are we going to discuss
Yeah.
something about the Cilium and Hubble, how it works on
Cilium won't look
internally?
like Cilium as is, by the way. Cilium in the context of observability will consider.
Okay, just how it works we
Yeah.
discussed here, not in the
Correct.
internals of it.
Yes. How the CNI part, I mean, generally on the Kubernetes extended monitoring level, because Kubernetes is considering as bit widely adoption going on and happening. I just wanted to cover certain topics around that exclusive.
Okay. So basically, the other thing is about the profiling. What I know from the word, from the terminology of profiling, like it just tells you like how much of CPU and memory is being used by a certain part of the code in the application. That's what I know from profiling. So are we going to discuss coding part for the banking application, which we are discussing in the training, or
No,
how are we going
coding
to
in
implement the profiling thing?
application. There is a there is an observability profiling also, which is available, by the way. Okay. So, which will help you in telling, okay, this piece of the code actually causing the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe if you use some paid tools and all, I think it's out of box feature, right? So, but here we are using individual pieces. So now let's say every time we are getting the alert, but what piece you're getting the alert, or let's say the classical example which I mentioned that like let's say instead of 300 milliseconds, the response you're getting in 10 seconds. So what piece actually causing that delay? Which function is actually causing that particular delay? So you need to drill down to that area. So that is where this profiling will help
you. Isn't it the part of uh, tracing, like the span? We just check the spans, which span ID has taken time to, process the request. That wouldn't be the
tracing
thing,
will
right?
tell on the API level. It still tell you this API has taken it, but what part of the code block will not get it in the.
Oh, that's the profiling which we talk. Okay. Yeah, got it. So apart from this technical thing, I just gone through Shiva's introduction for this session. So he mentioned something like they are going to introduce this particular observability in other trainings as well. Like may not be the in depth as like we are doing here. So what is the difference we are? What is the difference between that part and this one?
It was always there in the, general DevOps trainings, by the way. But the problem there is will not be able to focus a month time on the observability, right? So and also will generally will not go on to the other aspects, like as I mentioned that so the SRE standards generally, like what we have in industry are, the production engineering standards that what we generally have. Those particular standards will not get into, and even some of the topics which you asked in, so those will not get into those particular bits. So there you will just observe the application, will generate the alerts, and I think so. This is how you observe. This is how you generate the alert, but you will not look at the long-term standards or long-term, things, and even how do you, how do you structure, or how do you architect the things around the observability kind of a thing. So those particular things will not be covered in that regular general time. That's for beginner like kind of a thing, right? So that's where here we are coming and telling that if you're already a beginner, so then now you consider this as a L2 level of training from the observability prospect.
Right. Okay.
We're also planning for we are also planning for another training as well, which is a day to DevOps training kind of a thing. So everyone, we talk about how to set up, how do you do the things, but how do you run the things, right? Which is again an important thing. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get that. So what is the other training you said?
So the day two. See, all we talk about in the training is day zero. Like let's say you take as an example how to set up the Kubernetes. You take a pod, you set up a deployment, all those particular things. The application project, whatever you're talking about, you convert that, right? And maybe you put some load and you generate the observability and things like that. But if on the real world, by the way, if I really need to do that in a production grade kind of a thing, so what is your general day to see? That is a one-time activity. We call it as day zero or day one activity. So that's done. So now you channeled everything that it goes to the production. Then what is your next work actually? Every day you'll not run the Helm Helm deployment.
No,
Right?
no.
Pipeline will do the work, right? So that is where we wanted to focus another training also. Maybe next time, sometime next year, we wanted to do that. So these are extended versions to the same training. So what do you do as a foundation?
So you mean to say the operation part of the project?
You can put that way, yeah. Not exactly the operations, but yeah. So how do you, as a DevOps engineer, so what is your day-to activity? All right.
Okay.
So not like you'll not tell that I'll go and create a pipeline. So because I get all these answers in the interviews, so will exclusively ask like, what do you do by the way? Then they'll
Day-to-day
tell,
operation.
I'll write a Jenkins file, I'll write a Docker file. I always question, see, the developer has written thousands of lines of the code. Can't he write 10 more lines of a Docker file, 20 lines more of a pipeline file? Can't he write? What is your value there? Right?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
in that context, I was telling. Sorry. Go.
Yeah. So apart from this, I would like to know if there is any other timings for this session, like not morning 7:30 to 9. That would be hard for me.
No, actually.
Or
So
is it
that's
the only session? Is it
it's
the
the
only
only.
time?
Correct.
So will there be any other batch like Telugu batch or something?
It may come, but it will take bit time. For time being, this is the first one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Raghu. All the best.
Thank you.
What are the tools covering in this courses? All are open source, right?
Correct.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you. And after this session completion, could you please help to review our resume? Because if I want,
We can do that. That's fine. Yeah.
yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hi, Raghu. Srinivas here.
Yes.
Yeah. I got almost all the answers to my question, so I was about to lower down my hand. Just wanted to know what are the monitoring tools that we are going to cover as part of this training? Is it only Prometheus, Grafana, and Toli, or anything else we are going to cover?
No. So there are multiple tools. I think the syllabus which is sent was wrong, I think. So we'll try to send it again after this
that's why I
session.
just wanted to get
It's
the
better.
clarity. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get it done.
Oh, okay. Thanks, sir. Thanks.
Hello?
Voice is coming, a lot of noise. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, this course is concentrated more on banking app, right? So once we complete this, we can also work on any other applications like mobile or fintech. Anything we can implement this observability, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And one more thing, after this, can we target like platform engineering roles, SRE roles? Currently, I'm in DevOps engineer.
This is observability training. So which will help you in, getting into those roles as one part only, not 100%.
Yeah, and, I'm hearing like mostly like platform engineering roles. So what is it like? Not understanding because the job description is similar to DevOps and it mentions infrastructure.
Correct. So there are differences here. I think it's out of context question. So platform engineering is you look, as a DevOps engineer and SRE engineer, you work on one part of the application. And SRE again, it's again overlapping thing. As a DevOps engineer, you'll work on one product. Okay, so getting into the production. But any company you go for, you'll not have one product, so they'll have n number of products. Okay, for an example, as a bank, so you are having a banking as a service. So banking as a service itself will evolve into some 20 30 products in the retail itself. Okay, so considering different things. So that is one area where the DevOps will come. But when you actually come to the platform, you come down where you power the full thing of the company, where it can be, so it can be a retail business, it can be a wholesale business, it can be a payment business, different areas, by the way. We'll cover everything. So it's a horizontal role, which is a bit depth role, by the way. In India, usually you'll see less people around this. Okay, on a platform side. So you beat it like, IT network, IT security, IT infra. Okay. All these particular areas you will try to, cover as one role, by the way, being a platform engineer.
Got it. Thank you.
Hi, Raghu. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Raghu, like you said, we have 73 microservices, right? So whether you are going to share any video, like, how to deploy the Helm charts to host the application. Yeah.
We're going to share a bootcamp document with you. So you just follow that and you'll get it. You'll be able to set up. Yeah.
Okay. So you mean like, we'll get that bootcamp post the, payment is done?
No, before to that.
Before that. Okay. Yeah. And also, Raghu, like, can we attend Monday and Tuesday sessions and then, make the payment?
Correct.
So, I mean, we can attend Monday and Tuesday session for free. Okay.
Correct.
I mean, like, when are you going to share the document? I mean, bootcamp document, Raghu? I mean,
Today only will share.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, Raghu. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, Raghu. This is Mahesh. So,
Yeah,
this I would like to know what are the AI tools where you are going to use it in this upcoming training session. Because, say for example, right, if you go with the Dynatrace, there we already have the Davis AI for observability. So, do you want to use any other such tools or?
You're talking about New Relic, huh?
Davis AI.
Dynatrace, right? Sorry.
Dynatrace. Yeah, in the Dynatrace, we have a Davis AI tool.
Okay. And not seen it actually. Dynatrace at least 7 years, 10 years it's been already. I've never seen the face after that. So I'm really cannot comment exactly what it offers, by the way. So, but here, I mean, end of the day, like, so if you have any problem, if you want to get it detected, so how to detect is what here also we try to do the same thing.
Okay. So in your training, which tools you are going to use it for the particular?
We'll share. I'm just getting the PDF uploaded. I'll share it in the chat in a few minutes.
Okay. Okay, got it. And also, so you are going to deploy LLM agents also?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll host them. Yes, correct.
Got it. So does it cover for this one the MLOps pipelines as well?
No. We'll not go there. We'll not go into the training side. We'll look into only on the inference.
Okay, got it. All right, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Raghu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Raghu, for observability, sir, is there any difference between for observability and metric level? I mean, for observability tools, we are using Datadog and Grafana, Prometheus, different tools we are using right now. So, in this case, how to connect between Prometheus and Grafana for logs moving or log storing purpose? This topic will cover here.
Yeah, correct.
Because in Kubernetes, we are monitoring, we are storing the logs, right? End to end, we are tracking the application end to end, right? So those logs we can move into the ELK stacks as Splunk or Grafana, this kind of things. How to
Correct.
communicate each other. This entire topic will cover here.
Yeah, here instead of ELK, we are covering other tool, Loki. So with that, yes, we'll do that.
I mean, this communication purpose, just like
Correct.
moving the logs from Kubernetes to local.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, correct.
Yeah, that is my question. Thank you.
Yes, Venkat. Hmm. See, it's almost lunchtime. People got exhausted.
Yeah,
Raise their hand and gone.
Hi
Yeah.
Raghu, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, Raghu, we can use on top of Azure account also, right? This entire setup.
Yes, but I think the end we wanted to run full the proper way of cluster. That I think only I have AWS setup, but I can work on Azure setup and also give it.
Okay, because I was most familiar with Azure and also compared to cost, I was experienced with compared to AWS. Azure is very low. I prefer. I believe.
No, sir. Azure is general cost.
Okay, okay. And one more thing, in my current organization, we are for observability, we are going with Datadog, and also even they are from Datadog also they are looking cost optimization. We don't have synthetic training. If anything more than just like looking into the production, if anything comes into the picture like traces something, we need to ping SRE team. They will look into it. Like we don't have much exposure. This observability will covers everything, no?
Yes, correct.
Just,
Correct.
production we don't have, just for deployment part only. That's it. Only whenever we got any alert or something in the Datadog, we'll post in the channel, SRE channel, and then we need to get their help.
Correct.
And one more thing, after this, out of the box, I'm asking, like I missed your sessions, April batch, I guess, due to timings issue. Going forward after this observability, can I expect any DevOps training regarding AWS Azure services from you?
Azure may not be this year, next year, because after recent completion of my Azure one, I am going to again to AWS one. After that, I'll have Azure, but this training will run continuously for some time. At least
Okay, okay, I
observability.
understood. If I want means I can go to that April 6th, no? I can after uh, I can I can go and check the services, right?
Correct.
Everything. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Raghu. That's it from mine.
Yeah. So, Hemant, yes.
Yeah, Raghu, what about the AI SRE agent? I am seeing a AI SRE agent also, Azure SRE agent. Can you speak about that? What's the main difference in the corporate sectors? Why they are using SRE agents nowadays? And AI ops, observability. There are a lot of confusion, all the things. Is there any big differences are there?
No, it's the name English is it's telling, right? So it's it's an agent for that particular job. That's all.
Okay, but the purpose is same.
I mean, I that's interesting actually. So I never heard this word. I'm surprised to hear. But anyhow, it's very simple to understand what is actually coming from. But and the production systems, like I mean, to an extent, it works all the time. But for the full job replacement as an agent, I don't think so.
What about chaos engineer, disaster recovery? It is also comes under SRE roles. So generally, for SRE roles, these are all required, right? For observability, I think 50-70% will cover, right? For SRE.
Depends subjective again, because company to company, I think the roles and responsibilities will bit different. But majorly, if you look in, yes, observability is one deep area they should be working on.
What chaos capacity planning?
You see, KOC is general engineering. I mean, I would say, like, one of the engineering practice that to follow that, so your TR is actually really working or not working. So how do you do is the KOS testing is what you perform. Okay. So intentionally you'll try to bring down certain services, whether the DR is really working. And some people do that in a chaos testing way. Some people go for planned DR testing, unplanned DR testing. I think you have this, right? U plus, I think plus DR drills they'll perform and do that. So there are different ways that, how do you achieve that? It's all again coming to the general standards of the SDLC, like software development practices that you follow.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is Istio is not covered in this course, right? Istio.
Istio is not going to be, because again, as I'm mentioning, so we are not going to cover the other side of the tools that what you generally use it to set up your application and all. So here, once after set up the application, how do you observe them is the observability training.
Okay, in our environment, we are using GCP observability for log explorer and New Relic for events like matrices. So both I can cover in this course, right? Observability. So in the same replica, right?
Yeah, I mean, you get the observability, but maybe a tools is a bit different here. May not be
Yes.
exactly the way it is set up in your company.
Cost optimized due to cost only, they will prefer those things.
Anything else?
Nothing else.
Not able to hear you, Gautam. No. Yes, Praveen. Not audible, Praveen. Voice.
Yeah, is it fine now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I want to ask one thing only. I have around 5 years of experience in L1. So when I attend to the SR interviews, so most of the real-time question hits so hard. So I want to just know one thing. So how this session will be help me in the interview-based concept, like the real time. And if you rate like the training, how much I can and how much I confident enough in the end of the section. So for the SRE roles. So yeah.
No, I did not got your question completely, because you're telling you're already working on SRE, correct?
Yeah, it's not completely SRE. It's L1 to operational. Yeah.
So that means, like, if you're not able to do the things in interview, means somewhere you're lagging, right? So this course
Yeah.
alone, I'm not sure how it will help, because I mean, what you have kept in the resume is also something important. I cannot comment at this moment, right? But generally, if any questions coming to the observability, I think you'll be able to answer them confidently, correct?
Okay.
Chandra, you're not unmuting.
Raghu, can you hear me?
Yes, Kishore.
Sorry, I came back again. So
Yeah, no.
I missed to ask you a few things. I just want to confirm it again. How much of PromQL are we going to cover in this training? Because that would be the major thing, right? Because
Yeah.
the dashboards are majorly built on PromQL and all the stuff. So how much of are we going to cover in this session?
The PromQL, the at least little complex expressions I wanted to explain in this particular training. Okay, so and again today you don't need to really too much bother about it. I think if it's the same question like 1 year before, I would spend more time. But today I think you'll be able to do it better with the help of the GPTs that we have, right? So all we need to do is we need to, you know, ask what we want, kind of. So you'll be able to get it. So the same way here, okay. So, but I'll definitely take you a bit of complex expressions. I mean, at least I want to go through the full function list which is available in the Prometheus there, and also derive a certain complex things. Yeah, that you generally need also.
Yeah, and I do understand. Like, we don't need to remember or know the syntax or the type of metric we need for the scenario, but at least the mindset, like seeing an issue, like what metrics we need to figure it out, or what metrics we need to ask check is what we need to know. That's what I just want to check. So how about the bucketing thing? Like we generally use Splunk in our organization. So we use buckets and histograms for the
Here also
metrics.
we'll do that. Buckets is quite common for HTTP metrics at least.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
For all the applications are going to export to the buckets only, histogram metrics.
Histogram metrics. Okay. So one final thing, like so nowadays I am hearing more about Grafana adaptive metrics. So are we going to touch anything on that point of view? Because I recently heard about some metrics have been enabled and they're not being used, and they see a lot of they're not being
That is
used
one of the
in,
cost aspect that we consider as a cost
exactly.
perspective. But as a Grafana is anything being given, I also need to check it out. I also honestly did not, I mean, seen a feature kind of a thing on the Grafana dashboard. I would have overlooked, not aware of this. But I'll definitely take a look. If anything can be done in our training, I'll do it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Not able to hear you, sir. Moving on.
Hey, hi, Raghu.
Yes.
I might be a little odd one here. So I'm part of a development team, and we are migrating a lot of ETL applications into OpenShift clusters. And yeah, we are able to do some pilots, and we are in a good state now and want to build observability. So we have different teams at our organization who actually own these platforms and do the connections, integrations, and all. But for me, I think at least for our teams, I would be able to in a position to talk to these teams and do the integration with our applications. Like I said, it is an ETL application, so most of those will be batch jobs and writing the output to std out and also some files which would be stored on Sonic NAS. So my question is like, would I be able to be in a position where I can understand like what observability is about and how I can integrate with these tool set? Like we are using Logstash and Elasticsearch for as log aggregator and Grafana for building the dashboards. So that is the background. And another question is, I think in your example, I've seen that the Grafana instance you turned up, that was pointing as localhost. But I think in the enterprise world, what I observe is, so that is Grafana, everything is taken by some central team and they allot some spaces for the application teams. So would you be also covering the ACL side of it, like how the application teams get access to this and how are the access levels restricted and all that?
I mean, I didn't had any intention on that particular point to cover, especially. So, I mean, in Grafana, I mean, at least I I don't think so. You can allocate a space kind of a thing. It should be done from the Prometheus side because Grafana is not a spacing. So
Right.
it doesn't store anything. It just
Right.
project the thing. So, as I mentioned, it's a very small RBAC policy thing, but kind of a task on the Grafana. I would suggest you to take a look. And if you have any questions, probably in the any one of the, I mean, off session when we connect the labs for the by the way, we can just discuss about it. But I don't see that as a serious point, and I also don't have any intention of that point actually wanted to cover it.
Okay, sure. And about the application, right? So these are going to be mainly batch jobs, so not the traditional microservices. So whatever is going to be trained in this as part of this course, would that be relevant to me? Or?
I mean, some parts may not be relevant because especially the tracing related things may not be relevant for you. But however, the remaining things like metrics and all, I think still bad jobs will expose the metrics. You will be collecting with some, I mean, we have some black box, push gateway that will do the job, which will even monitor the bad jobs also. And logs anyhow is essential for you, which will show up the logs, but tracing doesn't make sense for you. So, and also other concepts like SLO, SLIs, I think, I don't think so. Those are quite important. I mean, for the bad job kind of a thing. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Raghu.
Not able to hear you, Sai.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you able to hear me, Raghu?
Yes, I'm able to.
So, like my organization is moving into like Splunk and Dynatrace. Will this course will help me out on that thing? Like, I mean, in case if I wanted to.
If you're exactly looking for the same tools, the answer is no. But if you're looking for a generalized context, by the way, answer is yes.
Yeah, I mean, like background would be the similar, right? I mean,
Of course.
whatever.
Yes.
Sure. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah.
Hi, Raghu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is my voice is audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Actually, I have I'm working on L1 and L2 support on AWS cloud services, and also I have knowledge on Linux, and I have basic knowledge on Docker, Kubernetes, and Terraform. So, is this the right to learn observability and monitoring, or else how can you suggest me?
Yeah, it's a right to learn. So because again, you're at the L1 if you are, getting the things or you have been doing are looking at the things which is already been set up kind of a thing. So, but you'll come to know how to set up the things on that aspect. And also, while you learn this may not be alone enough. By the way, you need to gain the knowledge more on the other tools that you have listed, right? So you
Yeah.
should be gaining more knowledge
Okay.
on those
And
as well
then-
when you are preferring.
And also, I don't have knowledge on Grafana, Prometheus. Just I have created the cluster on EKS. So I saw those options. I mean, Grafana and Prometheus, just that's it. But I don't have that much of exposure in that. Is it fine? No?
Yeah, it's fine. We'll anyhow learn here.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, Venkat. Yeah.
Hi, Raghu. I have total 10 years of experience in IT industry. It's like a system administrator, VMware, and also AWS. And I am from 84 batch, Shivakumar sir. Uh, so can you? Actually, the thing is, last April, it means 2025 April, I joined joined the DevOps course, but some personal issues I couldn't complete. But I know. I mean, like briefly, I completed that course. So still, I am some whenever I have time. Uh, Still, I am practicing those records. But how can I put in my resume this course? Um, can you suggest is it worth? It's like a DevOps engineer. Otherwise, any other.
So this training is going to help you in gain more knowledge on the observability part of the same DevOps that what you learned by the way. So it's not like you'll change the role in the resume kind of a thing. It is still same, but if you're
Mhm.
interested in to learn some more depth while you're actually appearing for an interview, you can, so confidently talk bit better on the observability side of the things. Yes, yes.
Okay. I can add these things in my resume, right? Once
Correct.
this.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes.
Hello, Raghu.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the payment portal, it's showing 1500 discount for today or
No, just payments, keep it aside. Any technical questions you can ask.
okay, nothing. Thanks.
Hope I have answered most of the questions. Even in the chat I have seen. Any other questions? Final call.
Raghu, I would like to connect with you on one-on-one, not regarding this session. Is it possible?
Just check with the organizer. They'll try to patch up with.
Sure. Okay, I'll do. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. For e-commerce application, how observability will you going to explain for e-commerce specially dedicated to another course or only you chosen for bank? Any specific priorities there?
No, any application is okay. Any business application is okay. I just chosen the banking sector. That's all.
Okay. If my organization I am going through the e-commerce, so how to portray in interviews? Then I
Still
should
same one.
same one.
Yeah,
Okay.
tech and everything remains.
Okay. Thank you.
Not able to hear you, Shanuka. Yes, Sandeep.
Hello.
Yeah, Chandra.
Hey, Raghu. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Raghu. So actually, I I joined little late and almost you started a questionnaire session. So I have a couple of questions. Actually, I have got clear majority of questions. So I'm specifically asking about integrations, cloud integrations, and MCP integrations parts. So are we going to cover this integration as part of this course?
I mean, which kind of integration? Come again?
Cloud integrations like AWS integration, Azure integration. So actually, so
Integration with who?
no, actually, yeah,
Integration with what and who?
integration, cloud integration specifically. So I want to know how many how many instances, Lambda functions, and are running from specific AWS account.
You're talking about MCP integrations with AI.
No. So MCP integration is different. I'm talking about the cloud integrations. MCP integration I will discuss later.
Cloud integration with what?
Okay, so coming to New Relic, so in currently we are using New Relic tool. Okay, in New Relic tool, so we have an option called cloud integrations. Okay.
That is an option that you are integrating. Which service you are integrating, whether you're integrating a cloud, Kubernetes, Java service, like that, right?
In AWS also we have a number of services, right? EC2, Lambda, right? So those kind of services I'm asking actually. So in Wattle based monitoring, so is this feasible to enable those cloud integrations?
No, that is a specifically proprietary software that is doing that work. Every tool will not have the same feature. But if you want to do it, yes, you can do it with some sort of a I mean, how they will do it. So probably if they are connecting to an AWS account, so they will connect with some sort of a, so service account to connect to that particular one. So here also you can connect your code, some of the code. There'll be definitely some tools around it. So you'll be able to retrieve it. You should be able to.
It's request some IAM roles, permissions, and service accounts needs to be created.
That, of course, that is needed, right, for any.
Okay, so coming to MCP, so currently we are trying to build a MCP for fetching the list of alerts for applications and traces. Okay, so are we
From where?
going
MCP
New Relic?
connecting.
New Relic.
New Relic should be offering its own MCP, if I'm not wrong.
Own MCP, but we are not going to that. So we are going to create our own MCP, own model and MCP.
Okay.
Yeah, it's little cost actually New Relic MCP, so that's why we decided to go with our own MCP. Okay, so for that, so we already started creating MCP. Okay, so basically we're trying to fetch the list of alerts for particular applications. So based on the alert priorities like high, critical. So we want to send the notifications, the bulk, rather than doing individual teams.
Okay.
And it also covers the correlation as well.
What is the question?
So are we going to cover any MCP related topics?
Yes. Yes. We'll connect to the tools.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Not able to hear you, Santosh. Okay, all right then. I think it's already been quite late. Thanks everyone for your time. So see you on Monday. So I think in some time today you will receive the bootcamp related documentation. Please try to set up that in your account. And from Monday morning 7:30, so we'll try to. We'll be meeting for the live sessions. Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.